And literally, I would keep the apps like in my bag, and we wouldn't do much with them, but we took them. You know, you're like, I was aggressive today, but you didn't obviously convert them. So really big there. Make sure you get to your campuses early. I would say make sure that you're there. Obviously, you need to be ready to roll by 7:45. Classes start at 8 o'clock. There's plenty of kids up on campus at 8 o'clock. You want to be there at 8. You want to check in with your career service at 7:30. You want to be on campus, table set up, ready to roll at 7:45. You know, get the kids that are walking to class. Another one is never sit down. Don't be lame. I love when we have another, people are always like, oh, there's another table next to us. I welcome any table to sit next to me. Because we're going to stomp them. You know? Like there was people that put up like the, talk about transparency. There was a guy that put on the board, was about like, you can make $12 to $25 an hour. And we're like, and we just crushed them. You know? And so the thing is, don't be the lame army recruiter. You guys know the person like sits there and they're like just kind of chill at the campus. Like you guys are recruiters, you're paid to recruit, so freaking recruit people. You know? You're not paid hourly, you're not paid to sit on campus, you're not a chump, you don't work for the mall. And there's people that work for the mall, the bars and stuff like that sit on campus, they're paid their $10 an hour just to sit there. But you're not, so recruit. Next one, make sure you have a good approach on campus. This should be basically your pre-screen. I don't know if we're going to have time to actually go through this, but it needs to be legit. Like, there should be nobody that comes up to your table that does not know that you work with Cutco and Vector and, you know, those things. I mean, like, no shady approaches. Like, that's not going to do you any good. You know, Drew obviously had a great message on that stuff, too. So have a transparent approach. Don't be lazy also at the table. I've seen people do this. They say people come up, they're like, hey, so what's this? And you have no personality. You're like, oh, yeah, actually, we're just taking some application. If you'd like to read this, and you can fill it out if you like. You know, we'll get you hooked up with an interview. If you're doing that, you're not recruiting people. You're signing a few people up, but you're not recruiting people. And they're sure as hell not going to show your interview. The next one is draw people in, number 7. So draw people in. What do I mean by draw people in? You're a recruiter. So when people walk by on campus, are you like the guy that's like, oh, hell, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. And you're just kind of like not making eye contact with them? You're there. Like imagine if you worked a home and garden show. What do we do at home and garden shows? You pull people into the table. Have you ever heard of Cutco before? You're not going to let anybody walk by that table because you paid money to be there. We didn't pay any money to go on your campus, but you're making money to be on your campus. So I'm pulling every last fool that walks by my table, I'm pulling them in. You know, if you got the window shoppers, you guys know what I mean by the window shoppers? They kind of like cruise by and they do like a little flyby, and they just kind of look at you. Like, pull those people in. Hey, what's up, man? What's your name? And I got this from Lloyd a while ago. That's the best question ever. Hey, what's going on, man? What's your name, man? And they're going to come over to the table, and you start talking to them. You know, and obviously then they're going to fill out an app, and you're going to close them. So really, really, really important. Don't just chill. Matt and I did that so many times when we were new on campus years and years and years ago. And it was almost kind of like cool if nobody came to our table because then we got to chill. But that's ridiculous. That's what you're there for. Make sure that your table, if you were to walk by your table, this is number 8. If you walk by your table, it should be a surefire thing that you know exactly what's going on at that table. What do I mean by that? Kind of going on. I mean that if you were to walk by that table, there's no question, I'm not a student group. I'm not signing you up for internships. This is the job. We've got a great pay rate. Does that make sense? So literally, we'll set up a table, and after we set up the table, I'll do this every single time. I'll walk from one end of the hallway to the other end of the hallway, and I want to make sure that no matter what end I come from, there's no confusion of what we're doing here. You know, so what do I mean by that? Everybody knows, you know, they see the pay rate, they see student work. There's nothing that sucks worse than people are like, what are y'all doing here? You know, and that's how you know you suck on campus. You know, because you're going to take 2 applications because nobody knows what you're doing there. So you're going to have the one kid that's weird that talks to everybody on campus that's going to actually come up to your table and talk to you. So, and it's always the weird ones that want to talk to you, right? You recruit the good ones. The weird ones just show up. But here's my tip for you though. Get posters. This is the easiest, lamest tip. Get posters. Put posters on every end of your table. Not like overkill, like drape them. Put a poster on this side, a poster on this side, and 2 posters in the front. What do those say on them? Student work, $14, and it's large. Another thing, Matt did an awesome job of this, and Matt's a great artist. Give a dry erase board. Go spend the $100. A while ago, the region had this, and Lloyd Ware did it again. The region had, we were selling these arrows, There were dry erase like arrows. I know that sounds random, but it was a stand that you would actually set up. It was an arrow, but a dry erase arrow, if that makes any sense. Get something like that and put it across from your table. And the arrow is pointing towards you, and it's student work, $14, base pay or whatever. And there's got to be other things that draw, like we would literally put that across from the table. So there is no way you're going to walk past us without knowing exactly what's going on there. Draw people in, recruit people through advertising. The next one is build rapport with the applicant. Don't just breeze through your approach. Make a connection. This is an interview. You're recruiting people. The reason you're all in this room is that you were going to build a rapport with your customers. So be good at recruiting people. Carry a conversation. Have a personality. That's another thing. Who cares what you say on campus? Have a personality. They're going to show you the interview. Once they show the interview, you already know that they're definitely in a company. That's like them showing the training already, because they were sold on, obviously, your attitude and your self-fit. So build a rapport there. Number 9, make sure the career service office loves you guys. That's huge. I could freaking sleep at UTSA. I can do whatever I want to do at UTSA. Matt and I, we'll walk in there and they're like, oh, what do you want to do? Okay, cool. You just want us to all leave the office? You want to run, we don't even need an office. We could run our office out of the UTSA Career Service Office. Because they love us. And why do they love us? How do you make a Career Service Office love you? Anybody know? What's that? Okay. Build a relationship. And how do you build a relationship with the Career Service Office? Talk about their students. What else? Nobody's got there. No one wants to figure it out. What's that? No.
Check in. Just check in and check out.
Close.
No.
No.
No. Tell how your campus went.
What are they there for? What's the Career Service Office there for?
Give opportunities.
Compliment them.
What are they there for? Jobs.
Job.
Tell them how many
Place their
students got
in
jobs.
positions. So hook them up. Does that make sense? You want your Career Service Office to love you? Make them look good. How do you make them look good? You show them what students you're placing in positions. Does that make sense, guys? I mean, that's their job. Their sole position is to make sure that they have job placement for their students. So if you make them look awesome, they will eat out of your hand. So have the job placement forms. That's one thing. Ask your Career Service Office, y'all need job placement forms. Is there any way that what's the best way that I can get back to everybody that we actually select for the position? And send them to them. It can't be just like a take relationship. We've all heard that stuff. You have to give back, and the way you give back is by making them look incredible. Okay? And you want dates? We used to only be allowed 2 times a semester. If you want dates, we could literally go on, we could be at UTSA 9 to 5 every single freaking day, all year, because we make them look good. And that's huge. So make your Career Service Office look good. Cutco's cool and all, but they could care less about a free night. What do they want? They want to look good. They want to keep their job. They want to keep their funding from the university. Number 10, put this down already, get the window shoppers. We talked a little bit about that. Make sure that you're drawing people into your table. Number 11 is direct schedule. Do not go on campus, take a bunch of apps, just for the sake of taking apps and making yourself feel good. So take the apps and direct schedule them. Last week we had 36 people in training, which was fired up. We had a little trouble because we took so many apps on campus that we weren't very efficient with it. And so a couple of tips I'll give you here that what we felt on last week is that take the apps, make sure you're prepped to take a ton of apps. Some of you are like, I've only taken 5 apps. It's because you're not doing the right things on campus to take more apps. So make sure that you're marketing yourself. Next week you're taking 10 apps this week, and then tomorrow, we're on campus tomorrow. We'll be there for 8 hours tomorrow. Matt and myself, we will be there personally. But tomorrow you go over there, you might take 30, 40, 50 apps because you haven't done the right things in the past, So make sure you're prepped. Make sure you have printed out directions. Remember you have that like step-by-step directions from the campus. Have the directions. Another thing is that what we're going to start doing is we took so many apps last week, and then if you have Craigslist and all these other things going on, you should have our ERA. We had 3 girls in calling people. I had 1 girl in calling, just taking incoming calls from Craigslist, thanks to West Frank. And then after that, I barely got touched, so I had another girl come in. And then I called my wife. I was like, hey, dude, you got to roll to the office, man. We need you. And now she's working in the office. You know why? Because we're taking, our office is busy right now, like we are booming because of the campus stuff. So